Look at the weather.
It's beautiful here.
Non-stop rain.
Oh, man, it is a blazer out there.
It's cold and it's shivery.
It is cold.
Really coming down here.
I really enjoy your weather reports.
From the All Indiana Podcast Network, we're talking weather in a whole new way. From historical events to what's coming up, plus weather news, science, safety, fun facts, and more.
I like where this is going.
This is Weather Weekly. Weather Weekly with Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey.
It is Weather Weekly here. I am meteorologist Marcus Bailey with Wish TV in Indianapolis. This will be another Storm Talk episode. Gearing up for the potential for severe weather, not only here in central Indiana, but really all over the state of Indiana. Much of the Midwest, the Mid-South, the Deep South, with a heightened risk for severe weather. Could be an outbreak type of day. We're talking timing on when the severe weather threats will arrive and what we can expect and all the details you need to know. Plus, answering your questions. We'll be simulcasting this with Facebook Live and answering live questions here for the podcast. That's coming up next here on Weather Weekly.
Audible's romance collection has something to satisfy every side of you. When it comes to what kind of romance you're into, you don't have to choose just one. Fancy a dalliance with a duke, or maybe a steamy billionaire. You could find a book boyfriend in the city and another one tearing it up on the hockey field. And if nothing on this earth satisfies, you can always find love in another realm. Discover modern rom-coms from authors like Lily Chu and Ali Hazelwood, the latest romantasy series from Sarah J. Maas and Rebecca Yarros, plus Regency favorites like Bridgerton and Outlander. And of course, all the really steamy stuff. Your first great love story is free when you sign up for a free 30-day trial at audible.com/Wondery. That's audible.com/Wondery.
I am meteorologist Marcus Bailey. Weather Weekly. We are also simulcasting this with Facebook Live, getting people piling in here and letting me know where they are watching from. We're going to try to answer some questions live on Facebook for this podcast that will also drop, so people that may listen to this later this afternoon, hopefully they can have their answers, their questions answered here, okay? So we're going to be kind of walking you through the forecast, letting you know where we stand right now, where we are headed as we go into the afternoon hours. So we're going to kind of try to visualize this for our Facebook community here that's watching right now. And those of you that are listening via the podcast, I'll try to be as descriptive as possible. So we're going to start with the risk for today. Not much change from yesterday afternoon. Most of the state, including central Indiana, including the Indy metro area, under an enhanced risk for severe weather. That is a level 3 out of 5. So if you live in Indianapolis, if you live in most of the surrounding counties, you are in that enhanced field, all right, that level 3 out of 5. The change that came yesterday was the upgrade to a moderate risk. That's a level 4 out of 5 in southwestern Indiana. So that would include towns like Vincennes, Jasper, Evansville, French Lick, Washington, all included in that moderate risk for severe weather, okay? There is a slight risk for severe weather, which is a level 2 out of 5. Places like South Bend, Fort Wayne, Huntington, Muncie, Portland, Richmond, you're all included in that slight risk. So no matter how you kind of slice it here, everybody in the state is under some form of severe weather threat, okay? You get kind of a closer view here, and I'm going to show you some of the graphics from the National Weather Service here. This is showing, I just want to make sure that you can see everything on the screen. Okay, so this is kind of a closed-in or closer view of the cities that are in that enhanced risk. So it's Crawfordsville, Lafayette, Kokomo, Bloomington, Seymour, Greensburg, Terre Haute, all in that enhanced risk, so that level 3 out of 5, okay? You can see on the left-hand side of your screen, for those that are watching on Facebook, that wind is at a high threat, tornado is at a medium threat, hail is at a low threat, and flooding is kind of in a low to medium threat, okay? So obviously wind is the primary concern here. There is a potential for tornadoes as well. So if we go to, I'm going to walk you through kind of the Storm Prediction Center outlook here. So this is today's outlook, which will be updated. You can see if you're watching on Facebook right now that there is a hatched area for tornado. It's a 10% chance for a tornado to develop in this 10% area. All right. And it's basically from Indian Point south within 25 miles of a point. Whenever you have the hatched area, that means that there is a 10% or greater probability of an EF2 or EF5 tornado. So there is an area of concern that we could have some stronger tornadoes, but the wind threat is far greater. All right. In that moderate risk area that I showed you and talked about, southwestern Indiana, it's a 45% threat for damaging straight line winds. So what does that mean? Well, severe thunderstorm wind gusts is around 58 miles per hour. Okay. That's what would classify a severe thunderstorm. The hatched area, which almost includes most of Indiana, is wind gusts of 75 miles per hour or higher. So that's some significant stuff, okay? That can do a lot of damage. And so that's where the concern really comes from here for this storm complex that's coming in. So kind of two fronts that we're watching for. Yes, there is a tornado threat, but certainly the threat for damaging winds is going to be of a greater concern here for this evening. Now, in terms of the timing here, I believe we have it stated. Yes. So we're kind of saying 4 p.m. to midnight. 4 p.m. to midnight is the window of opportunity in terms of severe weather here. Okay. So be on guard for that. Now, I saw somebody ask in the Facebook chat, and if you guys got questions, we are also doing this in a podcast form that people can listen to, a podcast. It's called Weather Weekly that we host weekly here. If you have a question, I want to address that here, and we'll walk you through this just like we do any normal Facebook Live, just kind of doing it in a different room and a different setup here. Ryan asked, is it just me, or is one of the models not showing anything too crazy on future models, or am I just seeing things? And it's an excellent question here. So let me kind of walk you through kind of what I'm seeing here. So radar is showing, and I'm showing this on Facebook, kind of a line of storms right now out toward Iowa and Kansas. And then we've got some rain starting to fill in Illinois and Indiana. So the concern has always been and continues to be how much destabilization are we going to get later on this afternoon? So what Ryan was talking about on Futurecast here, I'm walking you hour by hour through midday, scattered showers, some rumbles of thunder expected, widespread through the state. Okay, as we go into the mid-afternoon, that's going to be where we have to really kind of pay attention. And those of you that are weather nerds, or you kind of follow along our forecasts a lot, whenever we talk about these events where there may be rain preceding any thunderstorm severe threat, we always talk about, will we get some sunshine out? Because the sunshine, what that does is it just kind of, for lack of a better term, it recharges the atmosphere, because the rain that we may get here this morning into the afternoon will stabilize the atmosphere. Okay. So if that were to continue and we don't get much sun and we have rain for most of the day, it would lessen our severe weather threats. I don't want to put it at zero, but it would diminish our severe weather threat once, say, the cold front that will trigger these storms moves on through. Okay, so this particular model is saying we're going to have a lot of rain and cloud cover in. And so what I'm watching right now, this is the HRRR. So this is a model that updates hourly and really takes into account what's happening right now. So we'll be watching with great interest how this model kind of interacts with everything here over the next several hours. But by around 6, 7, and 8 o'clock, there is a distinct line that starts to develop in southwestern Indiana, and then that stretches basically along the Mississippi River. And that's where that moderate risk is lying. It doesn't show maybe as a significant line of storms, say around the metro area and points south until you get closer to Evansville, okay? So this would hint that there is not much time for the atmosphere to kind of recharge itself. That's only one particular model. I could flip over to the North American high resolution model, and if you're watching on Facebook, you're seeing a far different story. At 8, 9, 10, 11 o'clock, that's a pretty decent line that is moving basically from South Bend all the way to the Ohio River, okay? So this is saying that we will get that kind of quiet time between, say, some scattered showers and thunderstorms this morning through the early afternoon, and then we get kind of this quiet time that we'll get some sunshine maybe peeking out, and that would allow then for some destabilization of the atmosphere, and that will help to fire up some strong to severe thunderstorms, okay? So that's where we kind of stand right now. Again, all modes of severe weather are in play. Damaging winds are going to be the highest concern because you've got a very long line that we're anticipating. And I know this kind of gets thrown out of the wayside because a lot of people don't take severe thunderstorm warnings as seriously as tornado warnings. But in a situation like this, I think you should treat all severe thunderstorm warnings like tornado warnings. And I don't say that to scare people, but I think this would be a situation that the atmosphere is just a little more volatile than we would traditionally see in maybe a severe thunderstorm warning setup. When you get 75 mile, 80 mile per hour winds, that's equal to a weaker tornado. And that in itself should be concerning, but also keep in mind when you have a line of storms that could stretch across the state, and all of those could be severe thunderstorm warned, think of the damage that can cause. Tornadoes are very isolated. Severe thunderstorm wind gusts can do a lot more coverage in terms of damage. So that's going to be kind of the concern here as we go into this event here. And again, the timing is going to be around 6 p.m., 5 p.m. or so till around midnight tonight. Okay. Happy to take any questions that you guys may have. I'm just looking through some of the live Facebook comments. I addressed Ryan's, who asked about the cloud cover and seeing if the models, Kathy asked, Marcus, if you're on the border of two colors. So Kathy's asking if we're on the border of, say, an enhanced risk or a moderate risk, which one should you be concerned with? Kathy, I wouldn't, or maybe even a slight risk, I wouldn't be too concerned with the colors. I think it's just important to be aware that there is a severe weather risk between the hours of basically 4 or 5 p.m. at midnight tonight, and you should make sure you're staying weather aware, okay? So an excellent question, though. I-70 doesn't seem to be the cutoff, Austin, that we typically will see. Jane says, out in the Brownsburg area at 3 p.m. And wanting to get back to Carmel. Jane, I don't think the severe weather risk will be on top of you until probably closer to dinner time. So you should be okay, barring it's not a longer appointment that you have to deal with here. That window of opportunity more so kind of opens up after 5 or 6 o'clock tonight. Okay. Brad, Lafayette squarely in that enhanced risk. And again, the threat will be between that 5 p.m. and midnight time frame. Okay. And again, if you're listening to the podcast here, the Weather Weekly podcast, we are also simulcasting this live on Facebook. So we are taking questions here. Just kind of going through some of the folks that are coming in and checking in with some of the issues. And again, the last question I address is if you're on the border of a slight risk or a moderate or an enhanced risk or enhanced risk and a moderate risk, which areas should you be concerned with. Kathy, tough to tell. That's why it's good to have these high-resolution models. Kathy asks, which model do you typically find to be more accurate when predicting possible weather events like today? We'll likely probably lean a little more heavier toward the HRRR, which is that first model I showed you that didn't show quite as much right now in terms of severe weather, just more kind of your stronger thunderstorms and widespread heavy rain. But that model is going to change and fluctuate with how the atmosphere is working as we speak right now. So if it thinks we're going to get more rain right now and eventually we don't, it's going to factor that in. It's going to act accordingly. So just because it's saying one thing now doesn't mean that that's what will happen, but we'll see how things kind of change as we go throughout the day. But that is going to be kind of the way we kind of look in things and play things out, okay? Melissa, Richmond is in the slight risk for severe weather, and you'll probably be on the latter end of things in terms of the timetable, closer to 11 p.m. or midnight if you get some severe storms heading your way, okay? Appreciate all your kind words, everybody. And again, we'll likely be doing another Facebook Live like you traditionally see when I do it upstairs here. So we'll be doing that here probably in the next hour or two. But I wanted to kind of simulcast this with the podcast just to kind of get your thoughts, get some question answered live on Facebook as well to get that on the podcast, okay? So hopefully you guys stay tuned. We're going to end the podcast thing here, side of things here, and move along and get you ready for more severe weather action. Make sure that you stay tuned to Storm Track 8 Wish TV and all of the meteorologists on staff. It's going to be a full house. I believe Ashley, our newest meteorologist, Ryan, is going to be in. Tara Hastings will be in, and Stephen Deanna will be in as well for the afternoon and evening shifts, keeping you updated. So make sure you're staying tuned to them on social media and Wish TV and WishTV.com as well. We'll have another update coming up next here on Weather Weekly. All right, another look at your weather forecast here as we wrap up a Storm Talk episode of Weather Weekly for April 13th. We will be dealing with these thunderstorms until late tonight, and then we quiet things down, but we're also going to, unfortunately, cool it back down as well. Thursday, numbers into the upper 50s. We'll get some sunshine, a little breezy too, but it should be fairly quiet. Same thing goes on Friday, back into the low to mid 60s with some sunshine. Gearing up for the Easter weekend, it's going to be on the cooler side, but both days should be dry, mid-50s on Saturday. If you're heading to the sunrise services or your kiddos have Easter egg hunts Sunday morning, bundle up. Likely into the 30s early in the morning. We'll only have highs in the low 50s as we head into your Sunday afternoon. Low 50s continue Monday and Tuesday. We may bounce back briefly by midweek Wednesday, getting into the 60s, but it looks like the longer-term pattern here, the 8 to 14 day, well below average. So we're not there yet. We're not quite turning that corner. All right, make sure you guys are staying weather alert here heading into your Wednesday night. Stay safe. Make sure you have multiple ways to get alerts. Weather radio is best, but obviously use the apps on your cell phone to alert you as well. Make sure those WEA alerts, WEA alerts, are on. You can do that in your settings tab. And shameless plug, Storm Track 8 weather app is a fantastic and free tool. It will alert you based on your location if you're out and about traveling here for this evening. We'll have another brand new Weather Weekly episode coming up next week. If all stays quiet, we'll be introducing you to our brand new meteorologist, Ryan Morse. Started with us last week. He's a great guy, and we'll hear more about him and his journey here to Wish TV. That'll be coming up next week on Weather Weekly. While you're here, make sure you check out all the other great podcasts, all part of the All Indiana Podcast Network. Stay safe. We'll talk to you next week.
Discover more from Storm Track 8 Weather and Wish TV. Online at WishTV.com and when you follow Wish TV on Facebook. Plus, be sure to check out more great podcasts from the All Indiana Podcast Network now at AllIndianaPodcastNetwork.com.